Welcome back, everybody. My name is Rdawggg with the Triple G's. I am back again with Lakeinator and Cosby. Team Royalty, Team Rogue. These games could really go either or. In the beginning, we were kind of watching, they were both feeling each other out. But then Team Royalty takes game one, this best of five. What do you think, Cosby, about that last match?
King of the North. King of the North. This again, we see more of the North show. It's just him dominating on Rdawggg. That's really all I saw the whole game, to be honest. And it is a 5-game series, so Rogue has the ability and the opportunity here to make some adjustments, and hopefully, like the Des has been saying all day, ban this Rdawggg.
I know, right? What do you think, Lakeinator?
I think it was a really good match overall. I do think Rogue made some minor mistakes with their positioning. Like, for example, Nitro getting caught at key moments multiple times before an objective. And then the team would either try to respond by helping him or by taking like a tier 1 on the other side of the map. It felt that, Rogue has to really be aware, or at least group up faster than Royalty can, or respond just a bit faster, and then they can actually, punish Rogue for their aggressive plays. And then at the same time, you have to get North off of Rdawggg, or you have to deal with Six's Kalari. It's either Kalari or Rdawggg. That's what you're going to have to deal with. Up to you what poison you want to deal with. I'm thinking I'd rather deal with a Kalari at this point.
I agree.
Do you think, do you think that for the bans coming in for this next draft, are you going to see Rdawggg yet again, Cosby?
Like I said, I really hope not. I want to see it banned. Because then I want to see a good, fair off-lane matchup. And when Rdawgg's in the mixture, it just doesn't feel like you get that. It's just like we've harped on it earlier. You can't stop him. You can only slow him down. Rdawgg's, he's too strong. That once the stacks start coming in, you can't stop him.
So we're saying that Rogue will probably be banning Rdawggg. Who do you think Royalty will ban, Lakeinator?
They might just target Tekken Kid to make it a bit more easier for North. They might just ban out the Crunch. I'm trying to think of any other impacts. They might ban Rampage, but maybe they'll throw it off and ban Richter. But since they won the first game, I can see them just banning out the Crunch again.
Right. I do wonder if we're going to see a different type, and there we go. Royalty is banning the Crunch. So going back to what you just said, banning the Crunch by Tekken Kid, because he is a threat. And of course, North is also a threat. So Rdawggg will get banned as well. Cosby, what other heroes North plays? Because I've only seen this guy play Rdawggg this whole day.
I think he's like a sneaky Shimby player as well. I'm sure he can play whatever he wants. He's a brilliant player. But that's what I've heard whispers of is his preference is a Shimby comfort pick.
Anything to add, Lakeinator?
North Pool is actually quite massive. He plays Bellica off lane. I've seen Gadget off lane. I've seen Shimby off lane. You tell North to play it, and he'll say, "Okay, I'll play it." So I think he can pull out anything.
What an absolute monster. Looks like Royalty will be locking down Kalari. So I think that's going to be 6 on that Kalari. Gideon will also get picked, and Gadget will also get picked. For Team Rogue, we see Rampage, Steel, and a Decker, as well as a Rdawggg. Cosby, what do you think about this current draft right now?
Sort of like flip-flop of what we saw last game. We saw the big tanks on Royalty last game. Now we're seeing the front line on Rogue, which, if last game has anything to do with that, I think the front line served Royalty really well last game. So Royalty is continuing with that same sort of strategy of damage over front line with the Kira and Narbash pick. Pretty safe duo lane pick, but really don't have the sort of beefy boys you want up front. Might make taking Primal Fangtooth a little difficult, OP a little difficult.
Yeah, we are not going to be seeing North with those beefy shoulders of his for Team Royalty. What do you think of this current draft? It looks like Howitzer just got picked, Lakeinator.
I'm gonna have to give it to Rogue here. Their comp looks actually insanely strong. what Royalty has for them once again is that early aggression, a lot of damage. So if Royalty gets ahead at all and the tanks get behind, they'll be able to run over that team. But if Rogue can keep up with Royalty, which I believe they can, and not get picked by like a Kalari, I think they have actually potential to take this one home.
I completely agree with that, because with that previous match that we just watched, Royalty had the Rampage and the Sevrog, as well as the Steel as their front line, hovering and helping their carries. What do you think, Cosby, about this current draft right now?
I think Royalty's playing towards one of their better strengths is that they have a carry mindset jungler that can really affect the game in a lot of ways. First picking the Kalari is definitely like that's their game plan here, right? It kind of unfolds there from the first pick, but on the other side of Rogue, they can also play towards their strengths with the Howitzer pick coming towards the last pick. We haven't seen that really much in this tournament. Appy has the ability to pop off as well, so it's gonna be a bloodbath.
Is going to take that $750 prize, and who is going to take $250? They were both, both these teams are hella stacked. So again, for Team Royalty, we have Kalari, we've got Gideon, Gadget, Kira, and Narbash. And then with Team Rogue, they've got the Rampage, the Steel, the Decker, Rdawggg, and Howitzer. Reiterating what you boys just said, they have to really protect their carries. And it's kind of like they kind of switched over, because that last match, Royalty was really protecting the carries, but then this time, Team Royalty is full of squishies, right? Who's going to be your pick, Cosby, for this coming match?
I gotta keep it with my boys in purple here, the Rogue. I think they had some tough lessons to learn game one. I think their draft was much better. I'm very happy to see the Sev ban, and I might be on the Hopium right now, but I'm going with Rogue.
What do you think, Lakeinator?
I'm gonna have to go the same. I believe in Rogue. I think this comp they have this time around is a lot better than Royalty's comp, but we'll see what Royalty can do with creating space and creating pressure and then trying to snowball their lead.
And I do want to point out that Pablo is not on the Revenant. We kind of watched that previous match. Pablo on that Revenant, he secured that pentakill, securing that last game one for Team Royalty. But this time around, it looks like he's going to be playing Kira versus a Rdawggg instead. So it's a Kira Narbash versus a Decker Rdawggg. What do you think of that matchup, Cosby?
The one concern I do have here is that I don't, Kira wasn't part of the original Paragon cast, so naturally, Colombian or Pablo is going to have a little less time spent on this character. But like I said earlier, I really don't have a lot of worries about Colombian in general, so I don't think it's going to affect the state of the game. But if they want, I think if Royalty wants to win, it's got to be through the duo lane.
All right, here we go. Game 2, Mycology and Lance, take it away, please.
Hello, once again. I am Lance, and over to my side is
Mycology. Nice to see you all again. Happy to be here.
Perfect, and we do see a little bit of difference coming out team comp wise for this in comparison to game one. One of the things that I do notice about the side of Team Royalty is a little bit of a lack of hard crowd control. They've got the thunk on the Narbash. They've got, the crash bang boom if they're able to get that off, but not a whole lot outside of that. A couple of slows and then like kind of the gadget route as long as she's able to get somebody into a good spot. What are you expecting to see from them to potentially help them out here?
I'll get into that in a second. I kind of want to caveat off what you said a little bit right there about the team picks and how everything's going to play out from here. From Rogue, we're seeing Rampage, Steel, Decker, Rdawggg, Howitzer. So we're seeing a little bit more of a tanky team comp, a little bit more sustainability, a little bit more CC and peel available. On Royalty, you said you're not seeing a lot of hard CC, and you are correct in that, Lance. So minus the Kalari, we're seeing Gideon, Gadget, Kira, and Narbash. And let's be real, all 4 of those ultimates sync up perfectly. As long as they're projected in the exact same scenario. You know, it's very hard to link a 5-man ult and hit all 5 ultimates at the same time. But if we do get to see that, we're going to see an immediate team wipe, regardless of how tanky the other team is. I would put this more back to what you said in Team Rogue's favor. They do have the sustainability, they do have the tankiness, and they do have the team comp, and they've displayed that they have that team cohesion with one another on how they're rotating, how they're situationally grasping everything that's going on. And I really do think that that would be a factor, but I would not be surprised if with Team Royalty, we did not see those big wombo combo happy feats coming out.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see them try to do that as well. And as we've seen throughout pretty much the entire course of this tournament so far, is these games have been won and lost around the team fights, around the big objectives, the Fang Tooth, the Orb Prime Pit. And those are where you're going to potentially be able to get those massive 5-man ults off, where you're going to get the Crash Bang Boom into the Tesla Dome, into the Kira ult. Try to see what you could do with the Gideon Black Hole as well. As, yeah, they are going to, you know, try to be looking for team fights as regularly as they can over here for Team Rogue.
Like you just said, I guess we could kind of call them choke points, but I would rather say pinch zone, because these are like pinch zone fights that you're talking about. It's like when you're looking for a very primary objective and you're looking to kind of take that. We all know, we've all been playing the game long enough. We've all seen enough situations happen that these are the big swings that happen, whether it's in solo queue or team play, is when everything is revolved around Fangtooth or Primal outside of taking objectives like towers. These are the big fights that matters. And Royalty has that team synergy fight going on right now. But what I want to see is, I want to see a display of mechanics that allow them to excel in those situations. Because if you just take that away, then Rogue has the better team pick on paper.
I completely agree with where you are coming from there. Gonna have that really long engage with the Rampage ult as well. Or not ult, I'm sorry, the Rock. They've got the Decker Ball. I love seeing these long range pick comps coming out from Team Rogue. Got Pinzo on that Decker, definitely a comfort pick for him. Although we've seen him primarily on the Belica today, definitely something he feels good with. Another thing that is worth noting is over there, we've got Tekken Kid on the Steel. Tekken Kid, Steel into Gadget is not a lane you see super regularly. You definitely think that that's going to fall in the early portion of the laning phase over to Decker, as you do see that early aggression coming out as they are fighting all of the way over into the river already, as North is starting to take it to Tekken Kid over there. Not even a single CS over into his pocket yet, as he's going to be on welfare checks early. But actually, it looks like North is the one who's gonna fall as as 100 T6 isn't able to get over there in time to be able to pick him, and the Steel does get that early advantage, already up 1-0 on the side of Tekken Kid. All this guy does is win lanes.
Yeah, looking like an early level 2 coming out from the duo lane right there. Again, a really nice trade-off. Wachowski was a little bit below half right before he hit that level spike and got some of that regeneration online. Going to be a little bit of a more passive lane for them. I feel like Narbash is one of those champions that you kind of just play safe. You use Song of My People to kind of stay sustainable in lane, and you just make sure that you're online at all times and just don't let your support die. They engage on you, hit him with the quick dunk, back up real quick.
Yeah, very much so a race to get over, get as much mana regen as you can, as we do see the invade of the blue side coming out from Team Rogue right now, trying to get that early advantage, as Six did show himself over in the off lane after that solo kill did happen between Tekken Kid and North. North is able to get back into the lane now, still hasn't pushed all of the way up to the tier 1 tower, as he does know he is safe to do so with the enemy team spotted in the blue side jungle.
Looks like they're kind of setting up right now. They're not going yeah, big Rock coming out right there. Your local dealer coming to sling. Looks like he's looking for a nice kind of freeze right there, but Nitro is just kind of not letting it go through. Kind of giving the dual lane. Looks like they're playing more that dual lane advantage right now, and I think that that is the right call based on the team comp that they currently have. We have the Steel in the off lane. We know that he has the tankiness and the sustainability to make sure that he lasts throughout these fights. Looks like the gold buff is already going to be at 10% right there. Looks like they're going for a quick steal. Might have picked it up right there.
I think that did go over to Haro, and something I would just want to point out is how deep Six is jungling over on the other side. So they saw that they just forced Nitro to back, still over by the 3 camp, spending a lot of time in the enemy blue buff. So Six is over there, gonna clear up the 4, gonna clear up the 3s, gonna even try to get a gank over onto Tekken Kid as well. Try to start a little bit of a twist over there, as North did fall early. Looks like Nitro is gonna come over there, try to back his his teammates up as well. However, it doesn't. Oh yeah, no, it does look like Six was gonna be taken down. So an early advantage for Team Rogue, as they should be up 2-0 right now. 2 kills over there in the solo lane. Very impressive performance early by Tekken Kid.
Looking like a little bit of a misposition right there by Derek. Went for a really deep ward, just happened to be a really bad time because they had just backed and then kind of came through the jungle as you should. They were letting out their own defensive wards. Caught him out right there, lost about 80% of his health, and as long as it's going to force him into an early back, but Pablo not really going to care too much because he got a bunch of free farm during that time period, so he might have a little bit of level advantage there in the future.
Yep, definitely what they are looking to see here. The early advantage is still coming out, as it does look like they were able to trade one back onto North there. Tekken Kid sitting at 1-0, Nitro sitting at 1-0 as well. Also, big early CS lead coming out of Nitro, even with the amount of time that he spent in the enemy jungle. Already sitting at 41, was able to clear the entire blue side from 6 over there. Very good early advantage. I'm sure that that man's friend requests are just piling in at this point. If you get mine, please respond to it, Nitro.
I do love the love for Nitro coming out right now. Looks like he's coming in for a gank. As speak of the devil, commentator's blessing perhaps right here. Pinzo going forward, looking for it, misses the lacrosse ball, does not hit the cage either. That's all right, going to back up right there. It is the A for effort that counts. That's how plays get made. That's how situations arise, and that's how I have something to talk about.
Right, and as they say, situations are situational, so not quite the situation they were looking to get themselves into there. Gonna have to back out, but a little bit of aggression going on in the mid lane as Hunter T6 does show up to try to help the mid laner to try to take down the Gideon there, but he is gonna be able to be safe, not quite able to pick him out there, as I believe that would be Seismic, who did not get taken down in the mid lane over there. But actually, it looks like they turned around and Appy Picker is the one that had fallen, as kills are just happening all around the map here. We did see the Kalari sneak into the mid lane as well, so a 2v1 situation is exactly what they're looking for to get Seismic a little ahead on this Gideon. Get to the point that we've got huge black holes coming out of everywhere, and Rogue is not willing to sit down and just roll over here as they're fighting for with everything they have in game 2 so far.
Yeah, we're coming up on 7 minutes into the game right now. We're extremely even. We have no Fangtooths online. 2 kills each. There was only a 4 CS differential. So I believe that we're going to see our first outbreak coming up on Fangtooth probably within the next 60 to 80 seconds coming up right now. Commentator's blessing, perhaps, make me look good.
Right, and 6 is still sticking with this early aggression, as once again another gank is going to come through over into Tekken Kid in the offlane. Not quite enough to get him to fall, though, as that steal is a beefy boy. Just a little bit of health left over to him as well. And it looks like Haru and Pinzo are going to have to try to contest this gold buff once again, as Pablo and Dare have got the early little bit of lead.
That was a nice try on the lacrosse ball. I really give it to Pinzo right there. He was gunning for it. His timing was like maybe like half a frame off.
Yeah, not quite enough to in order to be able to get that extra gold. Still gonna go over into Pablo Wazowski's pockets right now, as we have a little bit of a scuffle going on.
He might
over
be able
the
to hit the bull rush ult. He might be able to hit the bull rush ult. All right, he's gonna play it a little bit safe right there. That's okay.
Whew, yeah, and Kalari, the 6, is going to get out with just a sliver left in it, as we've got fights just all around this map. Hard to keep up with everything that is going on, as there's a fight around the mid lane. There's a fight around the Fangtooth pit, as well as Haru is going to fall over on the left side of the map. Pinzu is turning tail and running for his life. Only a sliver of health left. He's going to fall down as well. Appy Picker's going to have to retreat back to the base. And just like that, Royalty's got him right where they want him. Going to be able to secure this first neutral objective if all things go well.
If all things go well indeed. We do know that everybody just backs right now. That's the thing about early Fangtooths, is you kind of win that fight very early, but then the enemy team shows up so quickly because death timers are so short during this period of time. They're going to go ahead and pick it up, negate everything I just said, relating a little bit too much pickup groups over in the Predecessor Discord. However, that's going to be a first big Fangtooth for them. We're going to see those 50% river buff action coming on through, and that's going to kind of start that snowball that I think that they need to see going forward.
Right, and it's always important, because we talked about in the first one, Royalty really likes playing around that mini prime, right? They like getting both of them in the game, and one of the best ways to make that as time efficient and gold efficient as possible with the resources that you have to invest in is to get that first Fangtooth that's going to extend the duration of that mini prime buff. Take it from the 2-minute to the 3-minute. That is a huge influx with it. That is exactly the tempo that Royalty is trying to set for this game.
Yeah, so we got Six kind of sitting over there with the Kalari, waiting for his opportunity. Feels like we got a little bit of Spidey sense going on. He's perfectly in line, gets the death mark online, looking for like a little bit of extra damage. Just not going to be enough. They're going to stick around with about 2% HP right there. Really good stuff for Haru. Nitro ready to head into the backline, looking as if he is clearing the jungle camps, but that's a great position to be in case the Kalari decided to come around and go ahead and clean up that kill in the back line.
Yeah, Pablo crashes the wave into the turret there with the ult, trying to deny Haru that XP as he still is level 5, trying to do what they can to keep the minions away from him so that they still have that ultimate advantage in that lane. A lot of stats for hitting level 6 before your opponent as well. You know, usually about half an item's worth of stats out of each level that you get. So very big over there for Pablo and Dare to Care, continuing to starve out the duo lane of Rogue in Pinzu and Haru.
All right, we got Appy Picker over in the mid lane right now. Looks like he's clearing. Looks like 100 Thieves 6 is coming on over. Love the big name coming in. Big black hole coming through. 100 T gonna come. Gonna blow the blink. That's okay. That's gonna be a lot of damage. It's gonna force him into a situation where he has to back. Miss a little bit of XP. Nitro a little bit lagging again. So we've seen that twice now. That Six has come on out. He's ganked the lane. He's blown a blink. He's taken the HP. And then Nitro kind of comes galloping through the lane 3 or 4 seconds later. He just seems like he's a fraction behind. But how do you even keep up with Kalari? Honestly, like in terms of speed.
Honestly, that was just the old-fashioned lane gank. He literally just went invisible, walked from the tier 1 straight down it, knows that you're not going to have a ward in the middle of the lane. You're probably not at this point 11 minutes into the match. You know, knows he can just come in. It just gets away with just a sliver. Lucky that Deathmark didn't come out a little bit later or pop a little bit later, or that would have been an Appy Popper instead of an Appy Picker, and he would have spent a little bit of time in spectator mode, able to get out. Good for Appy. Rogue is still not out of this game by any stretch. They just need to continue to be safe and stop this bleeding like they're trying to accomplish now.
I'm going to ask production real quick for a little fact check in on the scoreboard. Seems, yeah, so we got a 5-2 game going on right now. Nothing too crazy. Look how close that farm is, Lance. Like,
right.
Like, come on.
And
That's
Pablo,
a 4 farm difference.
But Pablo has got 3 kills, which equals about 15 farm right there just on his own. 6-2 now as well as somebody pops while we've got this tab screen open as well. And just look how big Pablo is. Doesn't matter that he is an old head and is familiar with the old Paragon characters. He's playing the first Omega original character, and he's making it look like a masterpiece of a kit. Already at the 3-0. Gonna take a little bit of poke there because I can't get away with complimenting anybody without something bad happening to them. However, Pablo is going to be able to survive that. Dare is going to be there getting close to that 20 mana regen per second spot where he can just turn his Eon all of the time, turn himself into a eternal fountain, walk around, keep everybody alive, and you don't want to get behind to Akira. She gets to the spot where if she gets an auto attack range with you, there is nothing you can do to get out. She's got that dash forward. She's got the slow on her Q. She's got that extra damage from her right click. And if you get within her circle, you are dead if she is ahead of you.
Yeah, Appy Picker, beautiful bounce right there, putting himself
That's the
out of a really bad. Yeah, that is the tech right there, putting himself out of a bad position. Looks like Seismic is roaming over either towards that prime or towards that off lane. That's going to give Appy Picker an opportunity to shove this in, get a little bit more XP, perhaps a little bit of damage on that mid lane turret. And just like you said, I just got to comment on it because I was laughing so hard. It's like the second you start complimenting the guy, he gets hit by a lacrosse ball and burned for 50%. I absolutely love it. The commentator's curse is real coming out. Looks like Seismic is going to have a wonderful opportunity to just pick up that farm, didn't overextend his lead too much, and he's going to negate that XP deficit.
Yeah, interesting to see that we haven't gotten a mini prime, even attempt by either of them. Not necessarily going to be able to get to a spot where they're getting the picks on either the mid laner or the off laner that they're going to want to be able to clear that side of the map up right now. Wouldn't be surprised to see them try to work their way towards that. After this next Fangtooth Falls, I expect to see some fireworks popping off around it. They do have the minions pushed all of the way into the tier 1 of Rogue right now, so a little bit of a clear course straight down to it. But 100 Thieves 6 isn't in position. He's trying to get that blue buff taken care of right now. Gonna get, not quite a reset, a fake reset out of Dare and Pablo as they push B for a little bit, canceled it themselves. I think that they are ready to try to move towards this Fangtooth pit as there are no wards over here on the side of Rogue. They would not know that they are on it unless they've got that female intuition. And yeah, there it goes. It falls down right away. That's going to be the second Fangtooth over there onto Team Royalty.
That second Fangtooth, kind of things we were talking about before, Lance. Those things leading to big things. Looks like they're going to be going for a really big dive right here. Seismic starting out with the tagging of the turret. Ooh, perhaps Dare is taking a little bit too much damage right there. Blink out, barely controlling his life. Big blink to follow up. Pinzo is going to go ahead and hit him with that big nuke and just completely obliterate him. I think that was a little bit of an overzealous situation right there, but they made it look absolutely clean. Absolutely shutting that out and securing that first tower off the board, and we're going to get that snowball on this game going for Team Royalty.
Right, and they do make a trade as well, but they are trading their ADC for the support. That's always going to be worth it in the or for the side that loses their support in those trades. So just what Royalty is looking for, taking advantageous trades, getting that first turret as well. Gonna open up a giant
dives,
gaping black hole on top of this tier 1 tower in mid. Gonna pop that down as well.
Don't use that word.
Gonna pop down the tier 1 tower in mid as well, while they still have this buff up on to themselves, looking absolutely huge, as it looks like 100 T6 does actually have that mini prime on himself as well. Tekken continues to run here. He is out of mana, gonna get slowed by the Seek and Destroy, able to comfortably get into his tier 1 tower, but that is what Royalty have their eyes set on next.
Lance, I'm gonna have to talk you off screen.
Yeah, we'll move on for now. Okay, so gonna move in here, moving towards this tier 1. Really good wave clear early out of this gadget here. Gonna put the Seek and Destroy and the Hat down onto the wave. This should be able to fall, give all of the local gold over to North on this gadget as well, showing that he is not a Sevarog OTP and can play other champions over here in off lane as well.
All right, I'm really liking the advantage I see right now from Royalty. Looks like that they're always in that position that they need to be in, always flexing the absolute lead, absolutely oppressive. Little bit of a dance right now by Dare. Looks like we got Rdawggg forming up over in the mid lane a little bit, scoring up. I'm not sure what they're exactly looking for. We have Prime offline, we have Fangtooth offline, and what we really need to see from them is a mid lane break right now. Just some kind of, as we talked about before, they have the team comp, right? They have that huge team play potential where they could just wipe all 5 enemy players, but we're not seeing them put themselves in situations that allow them to do that. So
right.
How are we going to see that Rdawggg move forward and get to that point where we see a beautiful 4-man synergized ult and just completely turn the game around at any point?
Well, what they're going to need to do is they're going to need to stall. It seems a little bit obvious, but what they have to do is they have to get a good line of vision down. They have to stop Six from getting up on top of them like he has been doing this entire game. He's been living in the enemy lanes, giving up a little bit of farm, getting a little bit behind to Nitro early, but he does not care because kills are worth more gold than a camp. And so far, 100 T6 has basically been farming the enemy laners. And if you know, I'll give a 5 camp up for a double kill in the duo lane. He's gonna look to do that on repeat. He's looking to do it again right now as he is moving in towards Nitro. Gonna try to steal that red buff away. I don't see it hovering on Nitro, so I am assuming.
Pinzo, big black hole coming out right now. We're gonna see an absolute crash right here. Nitro gonna blink out of there. Will the Razorback be enough to reflect the damage? Not gonna be enough. He's gonna go down right there. That's gonna be an easy pick for them coming up on the red contestation. Just and there's the third one in the dirt.
Yeah, Haru's gonna pop to the death mark over there by the Kalari as well, and they are in perfect control of this game. They've got it exactly where they want to right now. No neutral camps up to take, nothing like Prime or Fangtooth right now. So what they've got is they've got their eyes set on these tier 2 towers as they are in the 3-1-1. North's already pushed up to that tier 2. Seismic is getting close to being pushed up to that tier 2, and we've already got the duo lane pushed up as well. One of these is likely to fall, as it does look like Rdawggg has chosen to respond over to this gadget, who is a little poked out. Gonna have to flash to get away.
Very nice.
Tekken Kid pretty low as well. 1 hat might be enough. The root's gonna come through.
All right. I'll tell you, he was cooking for a minute. He was cooking.
He was cooking for a minute.
Yeah, that was sick mechanics. I'll give you that, my guy. That was really good, but go ahead, and Royalty going to be able to come over and kind of pick that up a little bit, unfortunately. But dang,
Yeah,
I love a good display of mechanics from any individual player, regardless of what the team score is.
Not quite enough mana to be able to turn around and put a hat onto the steel. Probably would have been able to stop that pursuit in that spot. Good job by Tekken Kid to be able to identify that gadget was completely out of juice. Nothing left she's going to be able to do except try to run away. Able to even take that route, but it looks like just before we can even get an explanation, we got another fight popping off.
Yeah, Nitro just going to pop right in there. Had a really nice rock, slung it right in there. 100 Thieves 6 going to probably go down right here. Maybe not. He is a quick boy. Nitro going in for the leap. He's kind of looking to close it out. Looks like everybody else is showing up right now. Got the little mini dome coming out. No, oh, Knopf coming in. It's so hard not seeing him on Rdawggg, but they're going to keep coming in right now. I'm looking for the fight. They're trying to close out these things. Nitro's fighting for his life. Is this man going to make it out of there alive? He might be in a position to start hitting that back right there. This guy is absolutely goaded. He's got the jump again. He dodges the knife. Oh, he's going to go down anyway. Big black hole coming out right there. Not going to clip anybody with it. I see Tekken Kid coming in. Got the big ultimate. Wow, what a team fight we have coming in right now. Who's going to come out on top? And it looks like
it's going to be Royalty getting the 2-3-4-0 in that fight. Going to look to turn immediately over here on to the Fang Tooth as well. That is gonna be a tooth gap bigger than Michael Strahan's right now at 3-0 early in this game as well. Already at the 20-minute mark, the Orb Prime is on the map now. I'm sure that is what Royalty is going to have their eyes set towards next, as they are in complete control of this game. Can we get a quick second to look at the tab menu, please, Mr. Choice? 14-6.
The farm is
considerable
almost
amount
even.
of kills.
Actually, it's actually more impressive that the farm gap isn't as large as it seems with that kill deficit, because you have to factor all that time off the board.
Right, and look at the assist difference here quick, though. Although it is only 14-6, not that large of a margin. The assist difference, 22-6, a lot of gold spread out all around the board for Team Royalty. Also have those 3 Fang Teeth and that mini prime as well. So much global gold has came over to it. I also want to give a big shout out to Dare for the perfect CS right now, currently sitting at 0 like a good support should. So big shout out to Dare. That means Pablo has been around. That means he's been in positions where he's supposed to be, funneling farm into other people and not himself. So big shout out to Dare to care.
They're just absolutely so locked in right now, so honed in on every single fight that's going on. I know it's a little bit hard to follow with the drone guys, but like, you have to admit that every single time a team fight comes up and you think it's going to swing to Rogue just on that split second, it doesn't. It doesn't. Yeah. Everything breaks apart. The domino effect starts to display itself. Royalty comes out on top, and then they push that lead just a little bit further every time. Look at 6 right now, going head toe-to-toe right now with the Rampage. Doesn't even care.
Ooh, the rock almost comes back and gets him. They were able to make a little bit of a little bit of a trade there, as both offlaners are going to fall. Seismic's going to come over, hit that black hole onto him. You see the glow from the True Silver Bracelet go in. That's a whole lot of extra damage. Going to pick it up. 1-man advantage on the map right now for Royalties. 6 is very low, but looking to push this tier 2 tower, as there isn't anybody on Rogue's side of the map who's going to be able to come over and potentially contest him right now. Just going to push that next one in, but he does need to be careful. It doesn't take that long to rotate through the map. Kalari's very squishy. He's only got about, 1 Q from a howitzer left in it before he's going to pop. Oh, I guess that's the wrong team. It's only got about 1 rock from space from the Gideon before he's going to pop, but is going to be able to get himself back to safety. Really big buy, going to be coming up for Pablo here. See him spending about 1,600 gold there. Really big pockets. Let's see what he is on. Sitting on 3 full items already. 6 also on 3 items at that 4, 1, and 6 mark. Really big power spikes coming out from Team Royalty right now. As you see Haru only sitting on 1 item, a full item underneath Pablo Wazowski right now. Mike's favorite cousin, representing the family name super well right now.
Honestly, just another thing to touch on that you talked about, Lance, is like not just 6 in general, but Kalari. And I think a lot of under players underestimate this. Is when you think about Kalari, you think about an assassin who can just split, not just split, I'm sorry. You can just burst any back line, pick out any fight, and make a really great situation out of a bad situation. What I think a lot of players forget about is that her split potential is so high. She's such a slippery character. She's so able to get herself out of bad situations with how high mobility is. But as we're looking over into the dual lane right now, looks like they're going to be getting a little bit of action right there. Looks like Dare's going to be looking for that big thunk. Oh, very unfortunate for Pinzo. landed that CC, but it was a little too late. And looks like tier 2 is going to be going down in that duo lane. And it looks like Royalty is really swinging away with this. Swing away, Johnny, swing away.
Right, and it's just a testament to just how far ahead Six is right now. He's got so much damage that even when it looks like Pinzo's going to hit the fadeaway jumper like Kobe Bryant, he's still going to get popped and end up going down just way too early into that team fight. That's going to give Royalty a lot of advantage there. Going to be able to take that tier 2. Going to start looking for inhibs as well. Try to get it up to the match point, the tournament point in this series right now. And it looks like they've got all the pressure they're going to need in order to be able to at least knock down one inhibitor, as the duo lane side is going to fall to Pablo right now. Still making that press on towards the mid lane one, but it does look like Rogue is going to be able to clear those out for the time being.
Yeah, Rogue is absolutely doing their best to hang on right here, but I do not see any scenario where they bounce back from this, Lance. We're just seeing Royalty sitting on top of every situation that they need to. Do you have any thoughts or projections? I think the only thing that we see that makes them come back from this scenario is either a primal steal with the team fights we talked about earlier, or a really great prime call, maybe perhaps a trade.
Yeah, I think that what you're going to have to be looking for is to just be very smart and meticulous about how you approach these big objectives that they're going to be fighting over. We know Royalty has their eyes set on Primal Fangtooth. We know that they are going to need... They don't necessarily need an Orb Prime to win, but they're going to be looking for one just to make it easier for themselves. You need to try to get onto the right side of the pit that you can launch that Rampage in there, potentially sacrifice them, but just get those big buffs on. But what they're going to do, Royalty is going to try to bait a fight off before it so that a steal cannot potentially happen. Big Black Hole is going to come out, but it's not going to be enough to really knock anybody down. Some members of Team Rogue are starting to fall, though. They did get Nitro down. Tekken Kid's going to have to turn and run for his life, as it is only 2 members of Rogue existing right now. Tekken Kid's bar is starting to go very low. Pinzo's going to double jump up. They're going to chase him into the tier 2 tower. And just like that, that is going to be a clean sweep for Team Royalty. All members down for the next 20 seconds. 1 inhib down. Super minions crashing into the base already. And that should take us to a match point here after game 2, taken by Royalty.
Royalty coming through just like my co-caster Lance just said, coming absolutely out, swinging, holding the majority, ready to take it clean. 24-8 victory, absolutely holding no bars in any situation. They were there for every single Fang. They were there for every single trade, and they made sure that everything that they had to do was exactly pinpointed and chess calculated to get to that final lead. The big thing is, Lance, and I got to ask you, do we actually think we're going to see a swing around from the streamer dream team? After what we just saw,
I would be very surprised if Rogue does not pick up at least 1 game in this, but they are going to have to change the style in which they are playing. You even saw Royalty come back from a little bit of adversity, as North did get killed early in there, gave that little bit of advantage to Tekken Kid. As we know, all he does is win lane, but Royalty just played a clean game. I don't know what you do to stop Six and the pressure that he's able to put out. We've seen the Kalari respect ban come out against Six several times throughout this tournament. The man has got a champion ocean. There are so many things he can play and so many places that he can put himself in. That's why I refer to Six as the Rudyard Kipling of this game. This man is writing the Jungle Book.
I would love to hear from the chat right now. How do you think everything's going to play out right now? Go ahead and drop your predictions in the chat. I know you got a little vote bar, but go ahead and yell it loud and proud. Tell us exactly what you're thinking right now, what other players and teams could do to kind of mitigate the things that are going on right now. And we're going to go ahead and take a quick break, and we will see you momentarily.